All right, Hare Krishna. So Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and Supreme Controller. So in Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna starts speaking the Bhagavad Gita, Vyasadeva, who compiled all the Vedic knowledge, he refers to Krishna as Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. He doesn't say Shri Krishna Uvacha. And the reason why is it is being established that this is God speaking. And Bhagavad Gita is the only scripture in the world where God is personally speaking firsthand, right? In other religious traditions of the world, it is either an angel speaking or it is a messenger of God or somebody. But Bhagavad Gita is the only scripture where Krishna is specifically speaking, and we will hear how he describes himself as God and the definitions of God. So let's dive right into it. So the first thing I will start with is defining who is God or what is God, right? So Lord Brahma was asked this question. Lord Brahma, being the creator of this known universe, he was asked, who is God? You must be created the universe. So you must be. He's like, no, there is somebody who is my creator. And that somebody is being referred to here as Krishna, Ishvara, Parama, Krishna. So Ishvara means controller. Parama means supreme. So Ishvara, Parama, Krishna, supreme controller, Krishna. Satchid Ananda Vigraha, his Sat, he's eternal, Chit, conscious, Ananda, blissful. Vigraha has a spiritual form. Anadir Adir Govinda, there is nobody who exists before him. He's the origin, the primeval cause. Sarva Karana Karanam, he's a cause of all causes. So let's see the translation. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme Godhead. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin. And he is the prime cause of all causes. Now, you're going to ask me, well, Krishna does have parents, doesn't he? So he has an origin, right? And so let's kind of explore that aspect, that today's Krishna's birthday. We don't call it birthday, we say appearance day, because birth is for us. We take birth, we die. Krishna's never born, right? He never dies. He's God. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, in fact, talking about this is very auspicious. He says, Janma karma chame divyam, evam yo veti tattvataha, tyakta deham punarjanma naiti mam eti sorjuna, which means one who knows the transcendental nature of appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains eternal abode, O Arjuna. So if one knows about Krishna's Janma and Karma, his appearance in this world and his activities in this world, just by knowing that, knowing not as in like reading, but actually understanding that is enough for one to never have to take birth again in this world. So that's what we're exploring today. That's what we are studying. So thanks for joining. Yeah, no more birth for all of you, right? So if you see here, this is Krishna's appearance on this day, 5,100 and something years ago. On this particular day, at midnight, Krishna appeared in the prison cell of Kamsa, which is still there today in Mathura. And on top of that, there is a mosque today, but that place is still there, geographically speaking, in Mathura. And in that particular place, Krishna appeared at midnight in this form of four-armed Narayan form, right? So he didn't appear as a baby. He actually appeared as Lord Narayan, and he instructed Devaki and Vasudeva, telling them, this is what you need to do next. I have taken birth. I'm here to take care of all the misgivings, all the wrongs that are happening. I'm going to appear as a baby form, and you're going to take me to the other side of Yamuna and take me to Nand Maharaj's house, and etc., all the details, right? And you see on the right side, Vasudeva, who was in a prison cell, he is, by Krishna's instruction, all his, chains fall off, all the guards fall asleep. He takes Krishna, gets to Yamuna, and actually literally Anandasesh Nag actually comes and covers because raining heavily that day. And he walks over to the other side of the river and takes Krishna to Nand Maharaj's house. So Janma Karma, Divyam, it's not like ours. It's not birth by insemination like we are born. It is appearance. The Lord appears and he takes a baby form after that, and he tells his parents, who are actually his devotees. So he has not come from Devaki Vasudev. He has not come from Mother Yashoda. He exists. And these are personalities who wanted Krishna as their child, right? Different people have different mood towards Krishna. I want Krishna as my lover. I want Krishna as my friend. I want Krishna as my child, right? So Arjun's case, he got Krishna as his friend. Radharani's case, he got Krishna as his lover, as her lover. And in this case, they wanted Krishna to be their child. So, actually, Devaki Vasudev took multiple births before doing tapasya to get this reward of having Krishna as their child. So they are actually devotees of Krishna. They are not Krishna's origin. So we should understand, by definition, God has no origin, but he does come to this earth and he plays the role of a normal being, having parents and having friends and girlfriends and all of that, right? Especially girlfriends. That's what Krishna is famous for. All right. So why does Krishna appear on earth from time to time, right? Every yuga, Krishna comes in different forms. Narsimha, Varaha, Kurma, Balaram. He comes as Parashuram. He comes as Lord Ramachandra. He comes as Kalki. So he appears on planet Earth from time to time. For every yuga, he comes. So Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam sujamiham. Whenever there is decline in, whenever and wherever there's decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. So Kali Yuga, right? At this time also there is turmoil. So Krishna is there in the form of his holy name. In the past Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, he came as personality of God, and Krishna himself. Before that, he came as Lord Ram, etc., etc. So whenever there is a decline in religiosity, Krishna personally descends in various forms. And the next verse, Krishna is saying, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashach dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthayo sambhavami yuge yuge. Right? For those of you who watched the TV serial, you probably know this by heart. To deliver the pious, those who are devotees of Krishna. So Paritranaya sadhunam, the sadhus, to paritran, to deliver them, and to annihilate the miscreants, to destroy the miscreants. Dushkritam, vinashach dushkritam, as well as to re-establish principles of dharma. Dharma samstha panarthaya. So he speaks of Bhagavad Gita, thereby establishing again what has been broken. Even 5,000 years ago, the chain had been broken. So Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And I was very fortunate to be there before the pandemic. A few years ago, I was there in Kurukshetra, which is in Haryana. So exactly that spot where the banyan tree is. And Shankaracharya actually himself mentioned that this is where the Bhagavad Gita was spoken. So that place is still there. The Kurukshetra battlefield, Krishna spoke this very urgent message of Bhagavad Gita there, thereby establishing all the religious principles, right? And making his own example as a king, as a son, as a lover, as a husband, as a politician, as a friend, in all aspects, showcasing by his own example how to be, how to live life. In some cases, he does manifest his aspect as God. We cannot obviously copy that, but by his instructions, we follow what he says. So who is Krishna? Right? One might ask, generally people have various ideas. A lot of times people have poetic ideas of who's Krishna. Oh, Krishna is some idea. Krishna was a good man. Krishna was a prince. Krishna is a king. So let's see what the Vedic scriptures speak about Krishna. So definition of God, as I said, given by Lord Brahma himself, the cause of all causes, without equal or superior. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadi Govinda, Sarvakaradaka. So there is no equal or superior to God. He is the cause of all causes. If there is a cause, you are a cause because of your parents. They have a cause, they have a cause. And like that, if you go back, you go all the way to Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma has a cause, that's Krishna, right? Or if you look at a tree, or look at a brick or a stone, everything has a cause. It has come from some place. And the original cause, the original place where anything has come from, is the source of all sources. But there are three aspects of God, according to Srimad Bhagavatam. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaditi Shabdati, which is Brahman, which is the energy, like all-pervading eternal energy. This is the formless aspect of God. God is present everywhere. Brahman, right? Some people say God is light, God is energy. That aspect is called Brahman. That's not the complete aspect, but that's one aspect. Then there's Paramatma, right? In the heart, we have this inner voice. Many of you might have felt the inner voice, that you have a voice and there is somebody else is guiding you, right? Telling you what to do, inspiring you from within. Abilities that you don't have, but somebody is providing. That's inner voice, that's Paramatma. And then there is Bhagavan. That's a complete understanding of God, which is Krishna himself, the personality of Godhead. So if you see here, Sat, Satchit, Satchid Ananda, eternality. Sat, Brahman is the eternality principle. Paramatma, eternal and cognizance. That means aware, conscious, right? But doesn't interfere. Paramatma doesn't say, oh, you're about to murder someone, please don't do it. Paramatma is neutral. If you have it in your karma, it's automated. It's an automated process. He allows things to happen without interfering with people's free will. And then there is Bhagavan, eternality, cognizance, and bliss. You can have relationship, interaction, you can speak to God. That's the Bhagavan aspect, the personality aspect, right? So Krishna has a personality. So these are different aspects of God. Let's go a little deeper into it. The Brahman, all-pervading, abstract, formless, featureless. You cannot pray to energy, right? But it energizes everything. Like we have our Earth planet is energized by sun. Sun is energized by Brahman, right? Everything we see, gravitational energy or different energies, the source of all these energies is Brahma Jyoti, which is the bodily effulgence of Krishna. I'm not saying it. This is in Brahma Samhita. Lord Brahma is saying it. So Paramatma, he's an overseer, he's a witness. So how is your karma determined? Who Paramatma is watching, witnessing, right? Our past, present, future, he knows everything. And based on our karma, he's sanctioning what is possible. In a certain given place, we have certain choices, certain things we can do, certain things we cannot do. I can choose to, take a knife and cut vegetables, but I cannot choose to create a quantum computer at this, given the resources I have. So according to my karma, I have been given certain resources with which I can do certain things, and we cannot do certain things. So according to karma, we are rewarded as per our desire. Not all desires are fulfilled, but those desires that are according to that balance are fulfilled. So sanction, he sanctions it. Provides memory, intelligence, and forgetfulness. Matta smriti jnana pohanam cha. Krishna says, as Paramatma, from Paramatma comes memory. You remember things, right? Sometimes you remember things from your past life also, in certain cases. So there's memory, there's forgetfulness. Somebody dies, a breakup. You're able to forget and move on with life. So that also comes from Paramatma. And inspiration, right? Your creative element, things, most of us are entrepreneurs here. So the inspiration with which we solve a problem, sometimes we struggle, and suddenly this inspiration strikes. And we're like, boom, problem solved. How did that happen? Paramatma, right? So that's the role of Paramatma within us, who's, there is Atma and Paramatma. Atma is us, and Super Soul, Paramatma, is right beside us, guiding us, inspiring us, helping us remember things, helping us forgetful things, but not interfering with our choice, our free will. Interfere. The Bhagavan aspect is very, very complete and very sweet and very, this is the form that you fall in love with. This is Krishna, eternal, cognizant, blissful. So he is inviting you to have a relationship with him, right? We offer bhoga to God. We offer food to God, right? We offer our prayers. Who's listening to your prayers? Who's responding? That's the Bhagavan aspect, where you can have a conversation with God, right? He has a form, a blissful form. Now we might say, oh, that's a human form. No, we have a godlike form. Krishna doesn't have a human form. Krishna's form is the original form. Our form is cut around the original form of the personality of Godhead. We have godlike form, right? 2 hands, one nose, 2 eyes, etc. So he has a spiritual form. His form doesn't die like our form. Our body dies. Krishna's body doesn't die. It's spiritual. It's as old as existence, right? But he still looks very young. Nava Yovanamcha. It is described by Lord Brahma again in Brahma Samhita that he never ages beyond the age of 16. He always looks like a fresh youth. Nava Yovanamcha. Fresh youth. He doesn't, even in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when he's like around 125 years old, he looks like a 16-year-old. Absolutely young. Krishna does not age. How cool is that? He has qualities, right? That is what it's attractive. Rukmini Devi fell in love with Krishna just by hearing his qualities from her friends. Like, wow, Krishna is so witty. Krishna is so, he's such a genius. He's such a wordsmith. Krishna has so many qualities. If you ever want to know about Krishna's qualities, you can read Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu after text 18. Describes all his different qualities and his opulence. This is something that's interesting for today. Parashar Muni gives that one who is called Bhagavan has 6 opulence in its completeness. Yes, all the strength one can imagine. As baby Krishna, you see him as a baby, but he is killing demons, right? All these massive demons that comes. And in the serials, they will show, oh, Krishna is like, fighting. Actually, he doesn't fight. According to Bhagavatam, Krishna is just laughing and smiling and slapping and killing them. It's very effortless for Krishna. As a baby or as a 16-year-old or as a 125-year-old, he's always God. So he's always manifesting godlike qualities. And so even when he's killing demons or even killing Kamsa, with Kamsa also, he just slaps Kamsa and Kamsa dies. And who is Kamsa? He's so powerful that there is this elephant that's, who remembers the name of that elephant that he killed? It's like a mammoth-like elephant. I forget the name exactly. Kamsa was so strong, he took that elephant, he swirled it around and he threw it and it fell miles away. That's how strong was Kamsa. And Krishna went to Kamsa as a, I think, 12-year-old boy and just slapped Kamsa and Kamsa died. So Krishna is very strong, right? In fact, Krishna is so strong that the entire creation is resting on him. He says that in Bhagavad Gita, that just like a pearl necklace, the string on which the pearls are resting, like that, the creation is resting on me, right? So he said the whole creation is resting on Krishna. So he's the strongest. Then comes wealth. He's the wealthiest. His wife, Lakshmi Devi, is a goddess of fortune, right? So he's a husband of the goddess of fortune. So he's the wealthiest. He's the most famous. Whether you're a theist or an atheist, whether you like God or hate God, you talk about God, right? Somehow he comes up. He's the most famous, and not only this planet, but all planets, all the universes. There is not one universe. According to the Vedas, there are millions of universes in material creation, which is only 1/3 of creation. So Krishna is famous. One time Lord Brahma had a little like, Krishna, I am Brahma. I have 4 heads. I have created this universe. So he was a little proud and he went to visit Krishna in Dwarka. And he went to the door guard of Dwarka and said, tell Krishna, Brahma has come. I want to meet him. And the door guard was like, which Brahma? They're like, what do you mean, which Brahma? I am Lord Brahma. I've created this universe, chief engineer of this universe. He's like, yeah, but which, okay, let me go. And he says, okay, come on in, Krishna's invited you. And Lord Brahma walks in and he sees Krishna sitting with so many Brahmas. Let me mute. Wow. Okay. So Brahma goes in and he sees there are different Brahmas sitting there. Some have 10 heads, some have 1,000 heads, some have 8 heads, some have 16 heads. So apparently, according to the size of the universe, Brahma has more and more heads. And this Brahma, our Brahma, has 4 heads. And he's like, oh, our universe is kind of small, it seems. And there are more Brahmas and who are more powerful than I am. And they're waiting to see Krishna. Wow. Okay. So that's how famous Krishna is. In fact, one time, Cupid, he was like, wow, okay, Krishna was meditating and he was trying to attract Krishna's attention, because Cupid is all he can attract people's attention. He's all about attraction. So he was trying to attract Krishna. Krishna was meditating and he didn't like to be bothered, but then because Cupid, he wanted to show him. So Krishna, when he became attractive, he attracted Cupids from, again, all different planets and universes and different places. And seeing that, Cupid also, Kamdev, he realized, wow, this person is attracting me, and not only me, many like me. And that's how Krishna's name is Madan Mohan. Madan as in Kamdev, and Mohan, one who attracts the heart of Kamdev. So, and Radharani is called Madan Mohana Mohini because she attracts the heart of Krishna. But I'm not getting into all those subject matter, but let's talk, so fame. Krishna is quite famous, right? He's quite knowledgeable. He knows about past, present, and future. He knows exactly what's happening in your heart. He knows what your desires are. So Krishna is fully knowledgeable about everything, every creation in his entire creation, every person, every ant, every bacteria, every virus, he knows about everything. Beauty, the most attractive feature of all the attractive features of Krishna is Krishna's beauty. He's extremely beautiful. So much so that anybody who looks at him just, almost faints or becomes disarmed, charmed by Krishna's beauty. So when Dhruva Maharaj, so many of you might know about Dhruva planet, right? So Dhruva Maharaj was meditating for 6 months, finally got to see the Lord face to face. And he had a material desire. He wanted to have a kingdom larger than his father and his grandfather. And his father was the ruler of the planet, and his grandfather was Lord Brahma, if I remember correctly. So he wanted something larger than this universe. But when he saw Lord Narayan face to face, he was like completely silent. He couldn't speak. He was spellbound by the beauty of the Lord. And so Lord Narayan very gently took his conch shell, his shankha, and tapped him in the head. And Dhruva Maharaj was like, whoa, I was looking for broken glass, but you're gem. I don't want anything. I don't have any more desires. I've seen you. I'm completely satisfied just by seeing you. And Lord Narayan said, no. You had a desire. You asked for it, and I want to fulfill it. Your happiness is my happiness. So Lord Narayan actually fulfilled his desire, created Dhruva Loka, which is, if you see the pole star, that's Dhruva Loka, right? And that's supposed to be the spiritual planet, which is dimensionless. It's not like our universe. So like that, Krishna's beauty, Radharani, when she sees Krishna, she forgets everything. The gopis, they see Krishna and they're like completely bewildered by his beauty. Now, one might think, how must be Krishna, right? So we say Ghansham, so dark, complexion, like rain carrying clouds, or some people say it's blue, but it's really not possible to actually define Krishna's beauty because it's spiritual. It is not material. It is not made up of blood, mucus, like ours. Krishna is fully spiritual. So that's why his beauty is not describable. Even if we describe, we won't be able to. We can say lotus-like eyes, Padma Lochana, his smile is like this, but it's only limited by our imagination because he is beyond our mind and senses. His name is Adhokshaja, Adho Akshaja. He's beyond our mind and senses. So when you see Krishna, then you see Krishna, you understand, wow, so beautiful. But till then, It's not something we can imagine, right? We can make deities, we can make pictures and whatnot, but it's all limited by our material understanding. Then comes renunciation, the sixth opulence of Krishna. Renunciation as in vairagya. He has created everything, but he's not attached to anything. In your pocket is Krishna's money, but he doesn't say, hey, that's my money. You give whatever donation you give, and that's okay, right? If you don't give donation, that's also okay. He's still providing sunshine, he's still providing rain, he's still providing wind, he's still providing all the oxygen. During the second wave, I was appreciating that, wow, for one cylinder of oxygen, these people are charging so much money, and Krishna is providing oxygen for millennia and millennia and millennia, and it's for free, right? And we're cutting down all the trees and we are harming the forests and whatnot. And nobody thinks, who's paying the bill for that, right? But when we have to pay for a cylinder of oxygen, then we think, oh my God, it is costing so much money. So Krishna is footing all the bill, and he's completely renounced. He doesn't say, give me something in return, right? So all of these qualities, each one of them, if anyone has, makes the person very attractive. If you're very strong, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, very attractive. If you're very famous, influencers and actors and movie stars, you're attractive. What to speak of all six of them in full, if you have, that makes you all attractive. And that is what the word Krishna means. Akarshati iti Krishna. One who attracts everyone. That personality is called Krishna. That is who we are talking about today. And Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, Aham sarvasya pravaho matta sarva pravartate iti matva bhajanti mam buddhavava samantam. Aham sarvasya, that's like Lord Brahma is saying the definition of God. He's the source of all sources. Here also Krishna says, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Sarvasya chaham hridishanna vishto matta smriti jnana pohanam cha vedescha sarver aham evya vedyo vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness, like we mentioned about Super Soul, Paramatma. By all the Vedas, I am to be known, right? Vedescha sarver aham eva vedyo. Of all the Vedas, I am to be known. I am the compiler of Vedanta. Vyasadeva is actually Krishna's avatar. And I am the knower of the Vedas. So very, very powerful verse where Krishna is defining. The Vedas are very vast body of knowledge, talking about astrology, physics, chemistry, war science, economics, biology, you name it. Vedas contain all of that. Now, unfortunately, in Kali Yuga, they've all been burned down by foreign invaders, and we don't have most of the Vedic literature. We have Srimad Bhagavatam, we have Bhagavad Gita, and that's about it. But having said that, of all the Vedas, Krishna's known. They're all pointing gently to one direction. And of all the Upanishads, of all the Itihasas, of all the Shruti, Smriti, Puranas, everything, all pointing to one direction. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, I am to be known. Once you know Krishna, then the Vedas, their purpose is fulfilled, because their purpose is to tell us about what is around us, tell us about who God is, tell us about how to reach God, tell us about what happens after death, how to live life, all the different things. But the most important thing is it tells us about who our creator is and how we can find happiness by reconnecting with that creator, which is called yoga. Yoga, to connect, right? Bhakti yoga, Jnana yoga, Ashtanga yoga, different ways of connecting with the Supreme. So, Vedescha sarver ahamevya vedyo. So, of all the Vedas, Krishna is to be known, right? Now, Krishna makes some promise also. What's the promise that Krishna makes? In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, after explaining all the principles in very brief, 1 hour, 30 minutes, right? If I can remember, 1.5 hours? Or was it 45 minutes? 45 minutes, actually, sorry. 45 minutes, Krishna speaks the entire, Arjuna understands, conversation happens, and Krishna says, now that you've understood, all the different aspects of dharma. Forget everything. Just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Now, when we say to somebody, do not fear, we don't have the ability to say that, because even if we say do not fear, we don't have all the power to protect someone. But when Krishna says do not fear, that is very powerful, because he actually has the ability to protect, to maintain, to sustain us, right? So when Krishna is saying that do not fear, I'll take care of all your sinful reactions, he means it. And that's the end of Bhagavad Gita, right? So what does that mean, to surrender to Krishna? The first thing about surrender is to understand, to accept that there is a higher person, right? Krishna is not like one of us. He is giving us a knowledge that is more than what we know, that is beyond our knowledge. Because if you think Krishna is just somebody like a friend or somebody like one of us, then his knowledge and some other author, other speaker, motivational guru, whatever, right? No difference. But once we understand he is God, that means his words are absolute. Absolute means there is no maybe, probably. There is no interpretation. There is no speculation, no extrapolation. It is as is. Krishna never says in Bhagavad Gita even once, probably, maybe this, maybe that. He's very clear. This is how it is. And based on that, if we accept that, that is the beginning of surrender, right? And slowly, once we accept that knowledge and we apply it in our lives, we see transformation happening. And we're like, wow, this is something I didn't think. This is something amazing. And as the transformation happens, faith develops. From faith, we start trusting God. And from trust, love develops. Because when you trust that, wow, he is what he says, he does what he says, and thereby I can trust him. And you see the reciprocation happening in your life, right? I get that all the time. For 15 years, I have been speaking about Bhagavad Gita since my US days and now in India. And every time people come and say, miracles are happening in my life. And I'm like, get used to it. It's only natural. It's not something that's, out of the ordinary anymore, because miracles happen all the time. Krishna is not just stone. He is not just some energy, light bulb. He is God, and he is constantly there for us. And, according to Bhagavad Gita, one who, to the degree one surrenders to Krishna, ye yatha mam prapadyante, tam sitaiva bhajamyaham. To that degree, Krishna also reciprocates. So you take us one step, he takes 1,000 steps, right? So like that, you take another step, he takes another 1,000 steps. So Krishna is always giving you the freedom to choose. He does not impose himself that, oh, me or the highway, right? My way or the highway. He doesn't say that. God is all loving, all powerful. Because he's all loving, he gives freedom. You can choose me or not, but I will love you unconditionally. I will be in your heart and provide you with all the things that you need. Your intelligence, your sustenance, everything will be provided for. And at the end of Bhagavad Gita, Sanjaya, who's witnessing this from Hastinapur, right? He says that wherever there's Krishna, the master of all mystics, wherever there is Arjun, the supreme archer, there will also be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality, right? So if you have Bhagavad Gita knowledge with you, nothing can stop you. You have all the good things, all the things that people are looking for. You already have that, along with Krishna's support. Krishna is on your chariot. Whether you can see it or not, Krishna is on your chariot because you've invited him. But uninvited, Krishna doesn't come. Uninvited, you're on your own, trying to figure out life on your own with your own mind, intelligence, and whatever limited abilities that we have. So that's very important to understand, that free will has its place and Krishna comes only when he is invited. One might say, why is Krishna not fixing this world? It is so messed up. That's why. When he is invited, he comes. When he's not invited, he doesn't. And Kali Yuga is supposed to be like this also. It is supposed to be in this form that we see it, and it's supposed to get only worse as time goes by. So it is important that we take this message very seriously, our spiritual life very, very seriously, and thereby move towards Krishna. Krishna says that one who even starts this process, right? For him, the greatest fear of death goes away. Even one who starts, forget about completing it, forget about perfection, right? So that's so all of you, many of you are here for the first time. So I'm very happy to see all of you. So this is the beginning of your spiritual life. Now, I had promised that I would share some stories, some pastimes, so that we understand through Krishna's activities, how is Krishna? But I was thinking that rather than talking about pastimes from, well, let me ask you, would you like to hear pastimes from 5,000 years ago? Or would you like to hear Krishna's pastimes from modern times, from recent times? In the chat section, you can let me know. Modern times, recent times. Okay. Okay, all right. So I'll start with the story of Sakshi Gopal. So this is only a few hundred years ago. So there were two Brahmanas. One was young, one was a little senior. And the senior Brahmana was going for touring all the dhams, different dhams, places of worship. And this junior Brahmana was helping him, as an assistant, young person. And the senior Brahmana was so happy with the junior Brahmana's effort. He promised him that, I will, once we go back, I will get you married to my daughter. I'll give you my daughter. And the junior Brahmana said, please don't make a promise you cannot keep, because you are from a very wealthy family. I'm from a very poor family. It's not the right match. Your family won't agree with it. The senior Brahman said, no. I am very pleased with you and I want to give you my word. And so the junior Brahmana said, okay, well, if that is the case, let's go in front of a temple, in front of Krishna's deity, you make a promise. So there was this Gopal deity in Vrindavan. And in front of the Vrindavan Gopal deity, the Brahmana made a promise that he will give his daughter to this young Brahmana. And then slowly, so this Brahmana was from Orissa. And so he walked back to Orissa and he told his wife and his son that, I have made a promise. There's going to be this young Brahmana coming in. I'm going to give my daughter to, and they're like, no way, he's poor, and all that. And we're not giving our daughter to such a person. But he said, I made a promise in front of the Lord. I cannot go back on my promise. He's like, doesn't matter. We'll take care of it. You just stay quiet. So this young guy comes and he's very happy, come for marriage and all, and this Brahmana's son and his wife were like, saying all the terrible things you can imagine to this boy, like, oh, you're so greedy. You have come for this, that. And he's like, no, you can ask the senior Brahmana. He gave his word. And the senior Brahmana is like, I'm too old. I cannot remember what I said. And so in jest, the son of the senior Brahmana said, well, since you're saying, Krishna is the witness, why don't you ask Krishna to come and give witness? So junior Brahmana said, very nice. I will do that. So he walked back all the way to Vrindavan and he went to that Gopal temple. And he said, my dear Krishna, promise was made in front of you. It is not at all nice that a Brahmana doesn't keep his promise. So I would like you to come with me as witness and go there and tell them that you witnessed it. And he's praying very ardently, and suddenly, deity starts speaking. So Gopal starts speaking, and it's like, have you ever heard of a deity walking and going places? And he's very happy to hear Krishna speak. He's like, yeah, well, you're talking to me. Nobody's ever heard of you talking. So if you can speak, you can walk. So kindly walk with me to that place in Orissa, and you could give witness. So Krishna's like, okay, good logic. So he said, fine, I'll walk with you, but you cannot look back. I'll be with you, but you cannot look back. The moment you look back, that's where I will get situated. I will not move from there. So this guy was like, okay, fine. So he keeps walking and he hears Krishna's nupur. Krishna is walking and Krishna's nupur is making noise. So he's hearing the Lord is behind him and he's walking all the way. So it finally comes to Orissa near the sea beach. This place is happening and there's a lot of sand. Even if you go today, actually I went there a couple of years back and there's a lot of sand there. So the sand, he couldn't hear Krishna's footsteps. So he was a little concerned that I have come this far. Now, what if Krishna is not there? Oh my God, he was getting scared. So he looked back. And as he looked back, Krishna stopped moving. He was right there. So then he was like, okay, what do I do now? The village is so close and Krishna has stopped. He won't move. So he went to the village. And this deity of Krishna, if you see him, I'll share the picture in the group, in the WhatsApp group, if you like. It's a very tall deity, almost 6 feet tall, very ornate, very beautiful, very, very beautiful. So all the local people were like surrounded to see this deity of Krishna. It's like, whoa, where did this come from? And slowly the word went to that village of that Brahmana, and this boy went and said, Krishna has come, Gopal has come to give sakshi. And when the Brahmana came running, he's like, what, Gopal has come? And he was hearing people are saying, there's a Gopal deity. He came and he saw that the same deity who was in Vrindavan had come here. And the old man, now he couldn't keep his mouth shut. He just broke down into tears and he begged for forgiveness. And he said, you're such a wonderful Brahmana that Krishna has personally come to give witness. So my daughter will be most fortunate to be married to you. And of course they got married. And that deity is still there, and it's called Sakshi Gopal. So on the way to Jagannath Puri, it is literally like half an hour away from Jagannath Puri. So you can take darshan of Sakshi Gopal. He's absolutely beautiful. So that's one pastime. Then there is Khirchar Gopinath, which is even closer. It's around 150 years ago. So there is to be this saint in our line of Guru Shishya Parampara named Madhavendra Puri. So those of you know Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in that line, Madhavendra Puri was the spiritual master, Guru of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Guru is Ishvara Puri, Ishvara Puri's Guru is Madhavendra Puri. So Madhavendra Puri was a great devotee of Krishna. And so many of you know Srinathji, right? Srinathji is standing like this in Rajasthan. So that deity of Srinathji was actually excavated by Madhavendra Puri in Govardhan. So that deity was in Govardhan. During the Mughal invasion, when Aurangzeb sent his men to break down the temples, so that deity was hidden by some Brahmana. And later on, Madhavendra Puri found it and brought that deity out, and that deity told him, like, offer me this, offer me that. So villages and villages would offer him food, and they built a temple around him and everything. And then one day, Srinathji told Madhavendra Puri that you should get me some camphor and chandan, because it's hot summer season's coming. I would like you to put some chandan on me so that my body is cooled. Madhavendra Puri was very old. And again, chandan and camphor were found in Orissa. So he again was like, okay, that's very far. He walked all the way. And on the way to going to Jagannath Puri, where he would find the camphor and the chandan, he stopped by this place called Remuna, right? This is around 6 to 10 hours away from Jagannath Puri. So Remuna. And at Remuna, there was a Gopinath temple, very beautiful deity of Gopinath. It is described that deity is like as old as, I think, maybe like thousands of years old, but it was probably worshipped by Lord Brahma, if I remember correctly. So it's that old, right? Very old deity of Gopinath. And Madhavendra Puri was watching the arti and the beautiful worship that was happening. And there's a special kind of worship that this Gopinath is offered several matka, clay matka of kheer is offered to this Gopinath. And Madhavendra Puri was seeing that they're offering one after another. And this kheer was very fragrant, had a beautiful smell. And generally speaking, when you offer food to Krishna, you don't smell it, right? It's because it's supposed to be Krishna's enjoyment. After he eats, he gives it to us, then prasad, we accept it. But before offering, we don't. But Madhavendra Puri, seeing the offering, he was like, I wish I knew the recipe so that I could make it for my Gopal, for my Srinathji. Give me a second. Batteries. Okay, so he was not being greedy, but he felt bad as soon as he thought that. He felt like, oh man, Krishna's not even accepted it, and I'm already, greedy over Krishna's. I shouldn't have done that. That is so not nice. So Madhavendra Puri ran away from that place in embarrassment, and he felt bad, and he just went, sat down under a tree, And at night, this deity of Gopinath, he came in the dream of the head pujari, and he told the pujari, please wake up. There is a wonderful devotee of mine named Madhavendra Puri, and he has come all the way from Vrindavan. And he wanted to taste some of my kheer. So when you were taking the kheer away, I had put one matka of kheer behind my lotus feet. So kindly take that kheer, open the door of the temple, take that kheer, and go to look for Madhavendra Puri and give it to him and tell him that I stole that kheer specifically for him to taste. So the head pujari was like, what kind of a dream was that? But he couldn't disregard the dream. So he took a shower, quickly went and opened the altar, and went in, and he saw, behind Krishna's feet was a matka of kheer. It's like, whoa. Krishna is like, he personally set that aside for his devotee. So he took that matka and he woke up everyone, like, wake up, this is amazing. We need to find this devotee Madhavendra Puri, who's like such a personality that Krishna himself is stealing kheer for him. So he went looking and Madhavendra Puri, where are you? And they finally found him. It's like, yes, what happened? What did I do? He's like, oh, you won't believe us. Krishna came in my dream and Krishna said he stole this kheer just for you to taste. And Madhavendra Puri was even more embarrassed. Not only was he being greedy after Krishna's kheer, Krishna actually, knew, and Krishna set it aside for him to taste it. So, and he realized, Madhavendra Puri also realized that now he'll get very famous. As soon as morning happens, people will be, glorifying him, worshipping him. So he ate the entire kheer very nicely. Even he broke the matka and took every piece of it, and he was relishing it. And then he ran away from that place. He went to Jagannath Puri before anybody could glorify him or speak about his popularity and whatnot. He didn't want name, fame, glories. He just wanted the chandan and the camphor and go back to Vrindavan. But somehow the word spread all the way to Jagannath Puri. And the king of Puri was like, I'm so grateful somebody of your stature has come. I have all the kheer and all the camphor and the sandalwood ready for you. And we have also arranged for servants to carry that for you. Since you're senior, you don't have to do anything. You stay as long as you want, and these people will carry this to Vrindavan for you. So Madhavendra Puri was, was like, okay, very happy. So he took darshan of Jagannath Puri, and then on his way back, as he was coming back, again, there was Ramuna. And again, Gopinath told him, I am the same Gopal. I'm the same Srinath Ji that you're worshipping in Vrindavan. You don't have to go all the way to Vrindavan. Worship me here. Take all that chandan, put it on me. And take all that camphor, put it on me. I am the same deity, and worship me here. And you stay here with me. So Madhavendra Puri left in that place only. He stayed for the rest of his life in Ramuna, worshipping Gopinath. And till today, not only Ramuna, but all around, wherever there's ISKCON temple, you will see Krishna from the Akshaya Tritiya to Snan Yatra, right? During April to June. Every single day, Krishna is covered with sandalwood paste and camphor paste because of this particular pastime. And that tradition is still held throughout Vaishnavas in various places. In some cases, in South India, it is also done to Narsinghadev, because he gets very hot, Ugra Narsingha. So he's so this is a practice, and Krishna really likes to be covered with sandalwood paste and camphor. So this is another story. So I couple of stories from modern times. So you don't have to think Krishna was there 5,000 years ago. Where is he now? And I can almost attest, many of you who are attending have experienced Krishna's pastimes in your lives, right? I have been fortunate to feel Krishna's presence in my life, and I do that almost every day. That's why somebody asked me, at a startup event, like, how come a person who is educated like yourself can say about, God exists? Have you seen God? I'm like, of course I've seen God. I'm not stupid. If I didn't see God, I would dedicate my life to God. But you can also see God. But the difference is you don't know how God looks like. You don't know when you see him how to recognize him. If, for example, if you didn't know how the prime minister or the president looks, and he came to your house, you wouldn't know, you wouldn't recognize. So when you see the deity, we don't say idol worship, right? We say deity. That means archa vigraha. That's a Sanskrit word. The deity is actually Krishna. When worshipped with bhakti, Krishna reciprocates as that deity. And there are many such stories, just like I gave you Kirchara Gopinath or Sakshi Gopal. These are deities made of stone, granite, but who are reciprocating as Krishna, right? So similarly, you can also get the reciprocation if you have love in your heart, if you have bhakti in your heart, and that's the process of this Shravanam Kirtanam. So today we are hearing about Krishna's pastimes on Krishna's birthday. All 45 of you that you're here are very, very fortunate, right? So I invite you, if you want to continue this journey, we do Bhagavad Gita study every Friday at 7:30 p.m. For those of you who are not aware of it, verse by verse, we go through Krishna's words. We do understand the context and how to apply Krishna's knowledge that he has given us in the Bhagavad Gita, specifically for Kali Yuga, and how to apply that in our lives. So you can WhatsApp this number, and somebody will add you to the WhatsApp group, and you can join every Friday if you like, to learn more about Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, and how to make our lives in line with the laws of God. Because when you follow the laws of the universe created by the Creator, you are not fighting against the wave. You're going with the wave, right? And thereby, it's easier to be happy. It's easier to be successful. It's easier to have a fulfilling, wholesome life. Most of you are connected with me on social media, so I don't need to tell you. But if you're not, you can connect with me. But please do join the Bhagavad Gita study. It will change your life. And for now, for the next 10 minutes or 5 minutes, I'll take questions. If you have any questions, you can write in the chat section or unmute yourself and ask. Yes, Vishal, you have a question?
Yes, sir. Yes, Hare Krishna, sir.
Hare Krishna.
सर अभी मेरा 8 राउंड्स जपा चल रहा है, राइट? आई एम डेली ईच मंथ आई एम एडिंग 1 राउंड, राइट?
ओके.
तो लेकिन अभी भी कैसा है कि थोड़ा फाइनेंशियली स्ट्रेस होने के कारण एक मन में अपने जो पीयर लोगों को देख के जो जेलसी या बोलते हैं ना कि ऐसा भाव क्यों आता है, लाइक नेगेटिव थॉट्स क्यों आते हैं अभी भी? लाइक मुझे मालूम है ये गलत है, आने के बाद पता चलता है लाइक इट्स रॉन्ग.
तो खुद को जज मत कीजिए, गलत या सही इसके फैसला हमको लेना नहीं है. जो है वो है. हमारा जो कर्म है, व्हाट इज आवर पास्ट कर्म, अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट वी हैव अ सर्टेन साइकोफिजिकल नेचर, और उसके अनुसार वी हैव सर्टेन प्रोपेंसिटीज. कुछ लोग थोड़ा ज्यादा लस्टी होते हैं, कुछ लोग थोड़ा ज्यादा ग्रीडी होते हैं, थोड़ा ज्यादा एनवियस होते हैं. सो वी हैव डिफरेंट qualities, and that's okay. Krishna is not judging you. You don't judge yourself. Invite Krishna in your life. आपका जो दोस्त जैसे होता है आप वैसे बन जाते हैं, right? You get the qualities of your friends. So become Krishna's friend. When you rub shoulders with Krishna, you become Krishna-like. So you get the good qualities of Krishna. Krishna is not envious of anyone, right? So you'll also become non-envious. You'll get all the good qualities. So just do what you're doing. आप chant कर रहे हैं every month, very good. Keep increasing your rounds, keep hearing about Bhagavad Gita, and slowly, as you come in contact with Krishna, slowly, all these negative qualities will get replaced with positive qualities. But it requires patience. एक दिन में नहीं होगा. करते, you'll see there's a transformation.
Right, sir.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Tapas, nowadays people ask randomly that why only Brahman shall do puja? Why not Shudras? Yeah, why not? Right? Krishna's not saying anything about that. In fact, you're Brahman or Shudra not by birth. You're Brahman and Shudra by nature. Just to give an example, I'm born in a Brahmin family, but I don't like to do the worship stuff, ringing bells and arati and all that. It's not natural to me. I am more of a Kshatriya Vaishya mix. I like business. I like leadership. That's who I am. My mother, on the other hand, she's very Brahmanical. She likes to do puja. That's her way of expressing. We all have our different ways of expressing our love for Krishna, and we all different. And Krishna accepts all of them. So who cares? So we definitely need to know the shastras. Otherwise, people will tell, "Log kya kahenge?" Log will always, logo ka kaam hai kehna, right? They will keep talking, but various things. But what matters is what Krishna says. Krishna say, "You offer me a little tulsi, little flower, or you just say something to appreciate me, or you just pay your respects to me. I'm happy. Or just think of me. I'm happy just by that. Man mana bhavamat bhakto mat yaji mam namaskuru. Just think of me. Offer your respects to me. I'm happy." Right? Even if you don't offer your respect, it is said, it's just a analogy that somebody comes to a temple, his wallet falls off. He goes to pick up the wallet, and Radharani next to Krishna says, "Oh, he's paying his respects to you. You should give him your blessings." Krishna's like, "He's picking up his wallet. No, he's giving his respects to you. You should give him your mercy." So Radharani is even more merciful. Even if there's something in her heart, I want to win that lottery ticket, I want to get that promotion. Krishna sees all that. Radharani is like, doesn't matter. You should give him your mercy. So when we say Hare Krishna, we are offering our respects to Radha and Krishna. Radhe Krishna. Hare is Radharani. So Radharani is a merciful embodiment of Krishna's mercy, Krishna's love. So when Radharani is there, she's causelessly merciful. So whatever you have in your heart, Krishna is not judging. Radharani is not judging. So when Krishna doesn't want, Radharani will tell him, "Please give your mercy to this person. Bless this person." Okay. Any other questions anybody has? Acha, Ame, Dhurgude. Some of my friends tell me that you need to dedicate like 4 or 5 hours for bhakti. But many others say that 16 rounds is the only mandatory thing. What do you think? Also, the friends which say this, they themselves don't follow. I'm now in ISKCON, but I'm friends with them since years. Yeah, it's not a function of time. I mean, honestly speaking, I don't give 4 or 5 hours. Having said that, living the Krishna conscious life, being in that lifestyle, things remind me of Krishna. Something good happens, Krishna's mercy. Something bad happens, what does Krishna want me to learn from the situation? Somebody is, some mistake I do. Oh, okay, where is my focus? I need to be more focused. My dear Krishna, please give me focus, right? So there's conversation happening internally within the devotee's heart, where almost 24 hours, or at least the awake hours, you are Krishna conscious, as you go through life. But initially, it might seem like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. But when it becomes a lifestyle shift, then it's not 4 hours, 5 hours. It's just part of your life. It's who you are. So it's not a function of time, 4 hours, 5 hours. It's not like job where you go and your boss says 9 to 5. You work, you get your paycheck. You don't work, you don't get your paycheck. Krishna's not like that. He's seeing your heart. Where is your heart? Are you giving your heart? What are you holding back? That's the function he's looking at. Kaushal Agarwal, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Some of my friends love eating non-veg. So will Krishna be friend to them in the same way like he is to someone who's vegetarian? Again, vegetarian and non-vegetarian is not the criteria, or the supreme criteria. You can be a vegetarian and be a dacoit. And, like Pulan Devi and most people in that Chhattisgarh area were vegetarians, and they are shooting people, right? So being vegetarian is not the only criteria. Having love for Krishna is the criteria to get Krishna's attention. So being friend with Krishna means being friendly, having friendly disposition. And if you are friendly disposition, you will not kill innocent beings, causing them harm, knowing that Krishna is their father, right? So, or rather, you'll diminish the harm that you're causing by eating vegetarian diet. So friendly disposition doesn't mean like, hey, dude, what's happening? Right? That's not the kind of friendly disposition I'm talking about. Friendly disposition means, friend, what does a friend do? Friend looks out for each other. They have the best interest of each other in mind, right? That's friendly disposition. So vegetarian, non-vegetarian. When I was a non-vegetarian, Krishna came in my life, right? If he was like, oh, you're a non-vegetarian, I'm not going to, attract your heart, I would not be a devotee. So Krishna is not judgmental. Please understand that. So slowly this transformation that happens. As Krishna comes in your life, compassion comes, kindness comes, charity comes, all the wonderful positive qualities come, like I was telling Vishal, right? And slowly, slowly, we become Krishna-like. Krishna's qualities become our qualities. Annapurna Babrora. Can we ask for material things like promotion from Krishna? Will that be an offense? At the initial stage, it's totally okay to ask for material things as long as you're asking Krishna and not any other, this Baba, that Baba, whatever. Coming to Krishna, Krishna says, when you come to me, there are 4 reasons why you come. And one of the things he says is artharthi, for money, for material prosperity. And that's okay. He says, I see you as a Mahatma. I see you as a great personality, right? Because you're coming to me. He's very grateful that you've come to Krishna. So it's okay to ask initially. But as you again grow in your relationship with Krishna, you realize you don't have to ask. He'll take care of it. He knows, he's in your heart. When you have that faith, the faith develops in Krishna. You realize you don't have to pray, you don't have to ask. Krishna is listening, he is there, and he will take care of your needs. Sub Srila Prabhupada Leela. I will do that. Oh, I wish I had some time. It's already 8:30. Krishna Mohan, I feel whatever we do, we can be with divine thought of Krishna, be meditative and not unconsciously carried away by everything. Yeah, that's the goal, right? We can be meditative, we can be in Krishna consciousness, whatever we do. Gaurav Chetri, why do senses, Indriya, do negative things when you know that's wrong? How to control it? In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says it's lust only, Arjuna, that compels us to do things that we know we shouldn't be doing, and we do. And things we know we should be doing, we don't do. What compels us is lust, derived from mode of passion, or from Rajoguna, lust develops. Lust means the greed for material sense enjoyment. That is what is causing this, right? Where we want to go in this direction, but our sense of enjoyment tells us, I want this and I want this now. The mind is telling us, I want this now. I want to gratify my senses. I don't care what you need. I want to be satisfied right like this moment. And we're like, okay, fine, my dear mind. Since you want it, let me do it right away. And rather than working on a project report, we end up watching Netflix. Rather than working on our whatever, spiritual aspect, we end up doing gossiping, something else, right? So it's that aspect of lust, intense desire for material sense enjoyment that distracts us from our goal, the path that we are on. We'll learn more about this as we go on in Bhagavad Gita. Join the Philosophy Friday and you'll know more about it. Is there anything else? Anything burning? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Sohil.
I had a question. Like, I feel from quite some time, I feel like my spiritual journey is like stalled. As in, I'm not getting any intriguing questions that I used to get before, or something like that. And I tried to think of something, but just nothing comes to mind. So, did you also go through a similar phase like that, where you felt your journey was stalled?
Yeah, it keeps happening. It's a cyclical thing. So what happens in your past life, you've done some Krishna conscious activity. As a result, you start off with this life, and as you come back to the same level as your past life, now you're kind of like, okay, you're at ground zero, and then there is that period of plateau, and you're like, what's happening to me? Why do I not feel the same enthusiasm? Another thing could be you might be offensive in your mind in certain thoughts to certain devotees. That also is a reason why the plateau. But regardless, the point is continue chanting, continue contemplating. What is important is, as you hear more Krishna Katha, you hear lectures, and you contemplate on them, then realizations come, thoughts come. And as you live your life, you apply those in your life, right? Again, that aha moment comes, right? And when you interact with other people, you share some of that realization with people. People ask you questions and you're like, oh, I don't know that. Oh, there is a hole in my understanding. And that's when you ask the questions, right? So you might not be interacting. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, right? So Shravana might be happening, but Kirtana might not be happening. So find a friend you can share your Krishna conscious realizations with. And you will, when there's interaction and question answer, you realize there's some things you don't know. And then you will ask those questions.
Okay, Prabhu. Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you.
Rahul is asking, though you know suffering is prominently in present in this world, like medical expenses or education, food, how to help people other than being financial contribution? Because I fear I spend more money and have fear that anyone will me. So as ISKCON, as a organization, we are feeding. It's a very large number every single day. I think around 2 crore people that we are feeding. You know, that's a very large number, and it's growing. In India alone, I think it's very large number as ISKCON that we are feeding, and throughout the world also we have Food for Life and things like that. But what we are feeding is Krishna Prasadam. We're not just feeding food that gets you karma. We are not just giving clothes, just books that are for material. It takes care of the body, nourishes the body as well as the soul. Right? And that is very important, because this body will die eventually. If you put all your eggs in a basket that's going to eventually fall off, guess what? Just like putting money in a bank that eventually become bankrupt and take all your money. Why would you do that? So it's important that you invest in the body as well as the soul. So when you want to benefit someone, you want to do charity to people, that's wonderful that you have that consciousness, but do it in a way that is spiritual. And the best way to do that is provide them with the body as well as the soul. Like prasadam, it's food for the body, it's also food for the soul. Education, we need to know maths, chemistry, physics. We also need to know Bhagavad Gita. So educating people on spiritual knowledge, become educated in the science of Krishna consciousness, in this philosophy, and then educate others. That's the best form of charity, right? It is say the Brahmana receives charity and gives charity. So he gives knowledge and he receives food stuff and things like that. Of course, today's Brahmanas have a rate chart. This puja, this much amount of money. That's not how it's supposed to be. But Brahmanas give charity, knowledge, and receive charity in alms and whatever they get. So that's, be the example rather than looking at how I can do this. You cannot save the whole world, but whoever you can only do that after you become perfect, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Janma sarthak kari karo parupakar. First, you make your life perfect, you become soundly grounded in the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, and then help others also become happy. When you become happy and your life is in order, right? But it's a wonderful thing to give charity, and there are many charities within ISKCON that you can give for tribal care, for orphans, for food for life, for education. Many projects out there. If you ask me, I'll connect you with the right people. Okay, anything? All right, thank you very much for joining. Happy Janmastami to all of you, and I'm very grateful you joined. Thank you very much. Lord Krishna's mercy, I pray that come on all of your lives, and you be happy, and you have all abundance, and you get pure Krishna bhakti in this life, and may you never take birth again. So with that thought and prayer, please allow me to take leave. Hare Krishna, and have a wonderful
Hare Krishna,
night.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare